My kitchen is ugly, like embarrassingly ugly, and I'm gonna change that on an extreme budget. I've already gotten a little head start. We stripped the original vinyl cover of the cupboards using a heat gun. Honestly, it was so satisfying. And then we just gave it a coat of white paint. And then one of our countertops was replaced because we had a leak. But we still have a long way to go. The main areas we're gonna be focusing on are the paneling. We have no idea how to sort this out, but we're gonna figure out. Painting the walls, but there's a few challenges to work out. Painting the cupboard doors and changing the handles, and attempting to match the countertop to the one that was replaced. All right, let's go. So I've walked around for about 20 minutes, not knowing where to start, and I think what I'm gonna do is start with the wood panel. Apparently it's like a massive pain in the ass where if you just paint over it, the orange seeps through the paint. I can't wait to say goodbye to that orange. So excited. I found the Hoover bowl. I used 150 grit sandpaper with my electric sander to take off most of the varnish. While I had a break, my girlfriend sanded the lumpy bits on the wall. It's definitely not the most professional way, but for us, it's a quick and easy solution to kind of like make it look a bit better. And for the big cracks in the wall, we just used some wood filler we had left over, let it dry, and then gave it a good sanding. And then onto the mammoth job of hoovering. Let me tell you, this stuff gets absolutely everywhere and took about 30 minutes to clean. The Alexa got it big time, boy. Honestly, it's I don't know why we didn't think that there would be that much dust if we sanded. Pink. So it's a very flattering angle. Thank you very much. Dust sheets down and onto the primer. I started with painting the gaps in between the panels, which was actually quite tricky to make sure everything was covered, and then gave the rest its first coat. And while that was drying, I moved on to painting the rest of the walls. I used Dulux Natural Hessian. Now I've seen this everywhere online, and I had no idea it was going to be as pink as it was, but I love a bit of pink. And to be fair, anything is better than that magnolia. It is so satisfying painting over the bits that were sanded. It's definitely not perfect, but it's much less of an eyesore. It has been the longest day, so we're going to stop now, but we managed to get the primer done for the panels, painted all the walls, and the windowsill looks just magnificent. Right, I'm off to have a shower. As you know, we stripped all of the doors of its like original vinyl covering except from this one. So it's still glossy and a little bit yellow. And even though there's 3 different door styles in the kitchen, I'm hoping if we strip the vinyl off this as well and just paint it all the same, at least it will all be matte and the same color. Now I'm hoping that this comes off as easy as the other ones. Wish me luck. It's leaving behind like this sticky like residue. Maybe I need to just like really heat it before I try and peel it off. This one is so much harder than the other ones. The other ones were a dream. You literally just heat them on, they peeled off and it was satisfying. This is like the opposite of satisfying. Okay, all right, okay. So I got a little bit impatient and it was coming off so well, so I thought, let me just have a big pull, and it's actually now taken off a bit of the wood, so it's made it a bit rough. I'm just gonna learn my lesson and go a bit slower. I carried on heating a little and peeling a little, and eventually I got it off. Thankfully, the second door was a lot quicker than the first one. Hey! So this one took about 45 to 50 minutes, whereas this one took about 20. So we learned a few things along the way. Pick a corner to start at and literally just start heating it away from the wood and then just slowly pour. I would suggest putting the heat gun on the outside because it's like you're heating where it's going rather than underneath where it's been, and it just worked better. And my last bit of advice would be go slow, because if you go fast, you're gonna pull off the wood like I did. And to remove the adhesive, luckily I bought sugar soap, and fingers crossed I can get rid of all the adhesive and I can paint today. I followed the instructions on this sugar soap package down to a T, applied a generous coat on each door and left it for the exact amount of time it should have been left for, and then wiped it all off with water, but to be honest, I just don't think it did all that much. While that mess was drying, I moved on to painting the cupboard doors. But first, handles out and a quick wipe down. I guessed the washable and tough paint was the best choice, but I guess we'll see. I got it in the colour Summer Linen. I started by painting all the grooves first, but quickly realised this paint does not like that. It just doesn't blend well when it's already starting to dry. So I switched up the tactic a little and we tag teamed it. I painted the grooves, and before it dried, my girlfriend went over with the roller to smooth it out and cover the rest. Yeah, that's broken. And I don't know how to fix it, so moving on. And we filled in the top holes because we don't need them. I can officially confirm that sugar soap really didn't do anything. So I'm gonna give this a go with sanding. I got the lightest sand grit that I could find, which was 240. Fingers crossed it doesn't destroy the wood, because then I really don't know what other options we have. I mean, I tried my best to sand off the adhesive. I think I'm a little bit out of my depth here. It's like going from rough to flat and sticky. That doesn't feel promising. Well, at least it's flat. What if I just painted on the sticky bits? Would it just not stick better? Don't know. At this point, I just thought, screw it. I kept sanding until the surface felt smoother and less sticky. Well, some bits were harder than others. I sanded the filler, wiped down the wood, and I was as ready as I could be for primer. Oh my God, I'm scared. Okay. Oh no, look. You see? That's like the wood coming up. Okay, well, we're just two girls giving it our best go. Sometimes things go wrong. Guess what? It looked ugly before, so we will survive. It looks really bad. You can see the wood chip. Well, obvious it's wood, it's not smooth. So I'm just gonna get a coat on and sand it, and hopefully the paint will even out somehow. I'm scared. After the paint dried, I lightly sanded it until it felt smooth to the touch and wiped down the dust. Right, I could be being delusional, but I'm pretty sure it's like really smooth and paint will look nice. I added another primer layer. While that dried, I sanded in between coats of the already painted doors and added another coat. And finally moved on to the first coat of colour on the top doors. Some bits required a little extra attention, a lot more paint and a lot more sanding, but after a few coats, I could not believe how good these turned out. It's finally time to put the top coat on the kitchen cabinets. And I've been stressing about this for so long because I did a DIY on a coffee table, and when I put the varnish on with a paintbrush, it looked terrible. So this time around, I've bought a spray, like a clear satin lacquer spray from Amazon. There's a bit of an issue though. Most people take off all the doors and drawers, take them outside and spray them. But I just know that I'm not gonna be able to get the drawers off and back on again and them still be functioning doors and drawers. So I'm gonna try and cut some corners and just leave them on while I spray it. I also bought these extra large dust sheets, and they are so big and so strong. I didn't show you, look. So I was a bit lazy and I couldn't be bothered to clear out every single cupboard. So, I mean, I'm so nervous. This spray caught me off guard a little because I expected it to have like a bigger spread of where it went on, but because it was quite concentrated, it made it really hard to tell where had already been covered. But I attempted to spray in even streaks on the whole door. It's a lot less intimidating than I thought it would be, but I can't see what I'm doing, so I don't know how it looks. I'm just gonna go ahead and do the other one. Petrol. It does smell like petrol. I'm glad it's not looking patchy already though. I'm just trying to wrap my head around this whole top coat. I've done 3 layers now and it feels like there's nothing on it. And I know it's a spray so it will still be thinner, but I expected it to be thicker. It actually might be okay, but I don't know what okay looks like. Finding a vinyl to match this one was so hard. We came across this one and it's honestly the closest we could do. There is going to be a little bit of distance between the two, so hopefully it won't be that noticeable. But I don't think it's going to look that bad. Cheeky clean with some Zaflora. A lot of people that did this online had like this special tool that looks like a window cleaner. I don't have one of those, but I do have a card. I also saw a lady roll it backwards because apparently it makes it easier to remove the paper. Oh, I'm going to have to try and make sure I put it on straight, aren't I? This was such a fiddly struggle. Trying to stick on the first part and keep it in the right place was a challenge that honestly beat me. In the end, I decided to just remove the paper and line it back up again after. But to be fair, that might not have been the best decision. Oh no, I moved it. Do you know what? We're just going in. We're just doing it. Do you know why? Because, no, it's wrong. Okay, I'm just going to stick it. We have a system. Who knows if it's working? I That's looking good. Having it rolled backwards is so good because I'm literally just pulling, and as I'm pulling, I'm just smoothing it out. I can imagine me being the nervous wreck I am to do things like this, having the whole roll here and trying to, no, it just wouldn't work for me. Do you know what? This is working. I just can't believe it's working. Oh no. I've put it on wonky. I have, look.
Yeah.
So it's going higher. Okay. Panicked, did do it wrong, 100% did it wrong, but because it had so much overhang, when it gets here, it does just tuck under. I continued peeling it slowly from the back and smoothing it from the front. At one point, I tried my luck and peeled a little bit more, but I ended up with a bubble. Luckily, it was an easy fix though. I peeled it back up and restuck it down, but definitely learnt my lesson. As I was getting further along, I kept cutting the excess paper so the process was more manageable. Ta-da! Think I'm gonna cut here. Should I do that? Maybe all the way down. Stick it in. A lot of this was trial and error, but I first cut off the excess, and then what worked for me was cutting the vinyl in line with the corners, but there was another problem. No, it won't stick properly. Because this corner was a funny shape, I didn't know how to cut it, but I ended up cutting a straight line so I could stick down the easier side, not that that wanted to stick. And for the corner, honestly, I just hacked away at it like a lumberjack. My aim was to have a small overlap from the left side, which I stuck on first so there would be a gap, and then I kind of smushed it and smoothed it all out with my finger and hope for the best. Does that kind of work?
Yeah.
It's a bit messy.
Yeah, you've done it, babe. I think that was so jagged.
Oh, it was so hard.
Jagged,
For some reason, this stuff did not want to stick down, and it's really strange because I've not seen anybody else on the internet have a problem with that, but the only way I could get it to stick down was to rub it really hard with my fingers and then try and seal it using the card, and for the most part, I could get it to stick. It was going so well, it just will not for the life of me, I don't know why, stick under the counter. Anyway, I cut around the rest of the corners and used a Stanley blade for the rest of the edges. Again, some people made this look really easy online and it was very hard for me. So my girlfriend took over. Thanks, babe. And we have a weird gap behind our unit, so we didn't actually have to be perfect. We just tucked it in behind it. Overall, it looks pretty good. The only issue is we need to figure out a solution to sticking down the end. I am off to bed. Peace. On to the most satisfying part of the kitchen, the panels. Oh, I forgot to mention, we also tried putting filler over the most orange bits. Total waste of time. So that's pretty much what I'm sanding down here. Quick little hoover, wipe down with a damp cloth, and once that was dried, onto the next layer of primer. I was so relieved to see the orange tannins becoming less and less visible. And then onto the actual colour, which I promise isn't white, it just looks it right now. We went through so many samples and ended up using one we already had at home, typical. I got these screws from Amazon and I'm not 100% convinced that silver is the right colour. We'll put them all on and see.
Oh, I actually don't think I mentioned how good it felt like organising and cleaning out all of my kitchen cupboards.
Does anyone else get this excited about organising? Because I quite frankly am obsessed with organising. These doors are so wonky. That's a little bit out of our league, to be honest. And finally, for the last little cupboard, we used super glue to stick on a matching handle, which is totally fine because we're not going to be using it. This is the first time I've ever not been embarrassed by my kitchen. I'm so happy. The panels are completely transformed. There's no more orange. Beautiful. And even though the worktops aren't identical, I'm really happy with how well they match. And the cupboard doors, like I'm just so happy with them. I know they're still different styles, but I think they're kind of disguised a little bit better to match. And I have absolutely zero DIY experience, so if I can make something happen, you can too. And things are gonna go wrong along the way, but that's part of the process. You find ways to fix it, so just give it a go. In total, this cost £198.62. Honestly, for under £200 and a bit of elbow grease, what a transformation. Like, I absolutely love it. If you like this video, then subscribe and all that good stuff. But in the meantime, take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.